Okay, thank you. So, yeah, glad to see everyone. I'm Dino, the head of business development from Allsop, decentralized exchange on Astar network. Off topic, but yesterday I have come from Japan, and as you may know, there is a big conference. There's a big another conference called IVS Crypto in Japan, Kyoto, at the same time, and of course I was interested in that as well. But I chose this one, Polkadot Decoded. So the fact that all of you guys are here shows you true love or kind of for Polkadot ecosystem, and I expect this will be a very deep and intense conference here. And I hope this Polkadot Decoded in Copenhagen will be more exciting and than the IBS Crypto conference in Kyoto in Japan. So yeah, let's make it happen together. Today I'm going to talk about XVM DEX for Polkadot X system. Of course, this also includes XVM. So we believe that by adding XVM into XVM, we can build new valuable application on Polkadot. In a nutshell, it is a DEX that allows users to handle all assets with one click without being conscious about with being conscious of blockchain or EVM or Wasm or something like complicated stuff for users. Obviously, more than can be said here in 20 minutes because it's including the topics about the potential of XVM and XGM and the importance of DeFi for Polkadot X system. And of course, Allsop itself, but I will do the best I can within 20 minutes. So, yeah, let me start by giving you guys a brief introduction of Allsop. Currently, Allsop is the #1 decentralized exchange on the Astar network as multiple metrics. The first, TVL and trading volume. We have continued to be #1 in these numbers from day one of Astar network. And in its peak, TVL was over $160 million, and trading volume has reached about $5 million per day. And moreover, we're keeping the highest number of daily active users as well. So it means that we are the most used application on Astar network. And finally, we are receiving the most voting from users in DApp staking. And let me be specific about DApp staking because these days I've got some questions from community about DApp staking. At first, DApp staking is a unique feature of Astar where users can vote for their favorite projects with staking Astar tokens. And the project like us can receive network revenue from Astar network proportionate to these amounts votings. And being the most voted means being most expected by the users, I guess. And we are fully aware of this responsibility, and we'd like to live up to expectations. And one of the questions I get often these days is about the use of these rewards. As a basic, we have used very little of these rewards yet, but what I want you to know is that we are currently distributing our protocol revenue, such as transaction fees, to our users. This distribution is done in two ways. The first is liquidity providing. The users who provide liquidity can earn rewards from our protocol revenues and receiving 80% of the transaction fees we earn. And the second one is fee staking. Users who stake Allsop tokens can receive 20% of our trading transaction fees. So in other words, 100% is returned to the users. And we believe that this is an excellent way to reward them because both of providing liquidity and staking Allsop tokens are valuable for service and users in Allsop. However, of course, we are not volunteering our services. So we have employees and we should pay their salaries. So despite this, one reason we can offer these benefits to users is thanks to the DApp staking mechanism in Astar network. I mean, even after returning all protocol revenues to our users, the rewards we received from DEP staking enable us to pay our employees to some extent. So we regret for this mechanism. And in the future, we plan to allocate part of these rewards for runway to develop new features. I'll explain it later. And in addition to that, we also use these rewards to buy back and burn our sub-tokens. So yeah, we see this as a way to effectively respond to users' voting or their expectations, because as the more they vote with us, the more buyback and burn we can carry out. Okay, so yeah, that's all for about the staking, and let's back to the main topic. And think back our achievements critically. This is just imitation of other chains, I think, like Ethereum and Binance. But it doesn't mean that that strategy was wrong. We've worked hard to achieve results on EVM side on Astar network, like becoming Uniswap on Ethereum or PancakeSwap on Binance. And this strategy was effective during a bull market. And as you can see, we've achieved certain numbers. But with the market now turning bearish, so I mean, the situation has significantly changed. So we feel a need to come up with something new that people want. And I mean, we should make an innovation by ourselves. In my opinion, this applies not only to Astar, but also applies to Astar Network and Polkadot ecosystem as a whole. And as a starting point for such innovation, we have been committed to Wasm native development in partnership with Astar Network. Because we believe that new innovations on Polkadot should originate from Wasm native. In fact, we've already developed a Wasm native DEX using Ink, and which we've launched on the Shiden test network already, and we are planning to launch on the mainnet as well. Yeah. However, during our Wasm development, we are starting to see new challenges. The thing is the issue of UI UX. Now, of course, the concept of XVM is wonderful, but yeah, Mr. Gavin mentioned before, but XVM is not perfect right now. And it's currently inconvenient for users to manage assets such as tokens and NFTs between polar chains. For example, it's easy to pick up the long address on different chains, and if a user puts a long address, they may lose their tokens. Moreover, as for Astar Network, there is another issue between EVM and Wasm. I mean, users need to switch between MetaMask and Polkadot.js, and this is very complicated. So to address these issues, yeah, we are developing a DEX that allows trading of all assets with one click on Polkadot. This DEX will natively support both XVM and XVM. Users won't have to worry about which polar chain they are currently using by utilizing XVM. So we simplify asset transfers between polar chains. And in addition to that, we leverage our experience in both EVM and Wasm, which we collaborated with Astar team. And with XVM, users can handle assets without having no consider the difference between EVM and Wasm. Okay, the advantage of supporting both cross-chain and cross-virtual machine is that it encourages not only development within Polkadot, but also access from external chains. For example, users who primarily using Ethereum can easily handle assets on Polkadot while staying in MetaMask. So we believe this will lead to more valuable assets from essential projects on Polkadot can be handled by more and more people all over the world. So, yeah, in summary, we are aiming to become a major DeFi hub on Polkadot with very simple and user-friendly UI UX. DeFi hub here contains three aspects. The first one is XVM. It involves being a cross-chain DEX capable of like handling assets between polar chains. And secondly, XVM. It involves being a closed virtual machine DEX capable of handling both EVM and Wasm. If this can be achieved, it brings the prospect of collaboration with external changes. With external chains through EVM. And lastly, an excellent UI UX is really important, I think. This refers to the entire user experiences, not only swap or other liquidity, but also including like wallet connectivity and transaction times and so on. And so we think that one of the reasons why the current Web3 hasn't achieved mass adoption is because it's hard for almost people to use it. So we want to break through this barrier and create a product that anyone can use without having to think about complicated things like blockchains, parachains, or EVM, something like that. And by doing so, advanced services and their tokens and NFTs that will be born within Polkadot in the future will be handled by more and more people, including other chains. So we want to make good use of these strengths to deliver the best UX, for everyone. And we want to invest in building that infrastructure from now. And fortunately, we are very close to the Astar network. And thanks to Astar's increased presence in the Japanese market, as Sota has just announced that the collaboration with Sony Communications. But we are also close to Japanese companies, so including those with famous IPs. So we want to make good use of these strengths to deliver the best UI UX for everyone. Now, let me share our progress so far. EVM side, as I mentioned at the beginnings, we have established the #1 DEX on the Astar network as EVM. And next is Wasm. We are building a Wasm native DEX with Ink. And we've already have launched in the test network. And we will plan to launch it on mainnet and as soon as possible. And we are now planning to make the code public and make it easy for anyone to fork it. And the third one is XVM. And we are now test launching the XVM DEX on Shibuya test network. And we will conduct experiments to share liquidity between Wasm and EVM. Okay, moving forward, we will continue to development. First, as EVM, V3 AM DEX will appear on the Astar network on EVM side. That means like Uniswap V3 model. Also, we are planning to launch XVM DEX on a mainnet as well. However, it's hard to confirm when it can be launched on the mainnet because the factors such as the time taken for auditing. And furthermore, we'll continue to develop the one-click cross-chain DEX. This means a mixture of XVM and V3 AM model that I mentioned earlier. And we believe that through these efforts, OSWAP will become a significant entity within the Polkadot ecosystem. Okay, that's all I got for today, and we're welcome to discuss it more and more. And please feel free to contact me if you have time. Thank you. We appreciate the continued support of those who share the same vision. Thank you very much.